Animating vector skirts in Alight Motion. Making the skirt. I'll bring my character model into the project. I'll take away Baldy's shirt and face so that he cannot protest. Actually, deleting or hiding layers decreases lag. Tap on the plus and add a vector drawing layer. I have my vector drawing tutorials playlist linked in the description if you want to learn more about vector drawing. But the basics are, this is the control pad. You can move your finger here to move this crosshair and tap on it to add a point. Add points to make up the shape of a skirt. Bring up the contours menu and enable lock path. Now, if you have a point selected and tap on the point type, it will curve the point. Curve the middle points for now. You can change the color of the skirt from color and fill and enable the stroke for the outline from border and shadow. If your stroke's edges are too sharp, pick the rounded option. When you curve a point, you get bezier handles. The circle is the main point and the squares are the curve contour handles as they control the appearance of the curve. We also have lock angle and lock distance to enable or disable. If you disable the lock distance, the square handles can have different lengths. And if you disable the lock angle, the two square handles can be at different angles. Open up the contours menu and add a contour. I'll draw the waistband here. Don't worry, we won't be animating the waistband. I'll name the skirt layer. And to make a short skirt, I can just select the endpoints with a lasso gesture and adjust them. Before we get to the animating step, add bookmarks on the timeline by tapping on the timestamp. This will allow us to navigate to that bookmark using the arrows. Cloth inertia. If the character's body touches the clothing, only then it will deform. For short skirts like this one, the fabric will stretch around the legs upon movement. I'll delete the arms since they're getting in the way. Animating short skirts. Go to Edit Points, switch to Keyframe Edit Mode. We're in the Contour Edit mode by default. Select a point, then add a keyframe. Then head to where we put the leg animation keyframes and position the point correctly. Every single point and handle are different properties and they need a separate keyframe. Just because the keyframe appears to be there doesn't mean it's actually there. It is faded at a lowered opacity. If you're animating a tight skirt like this, you don't really have to apply any skirt physics. Animate the points for the other side of the skirt as well. Animating long skirts. First of all, it is a bit different for long skirts and non-tight skirts. You'll have to look for exactly when the leg touches the skirt and bookmark that frame. Go to Edit Points, switch to Keyframe Edit mode. Add a keyframe at the bookmark when the leg touches the fabric. Then adjust accordingly at the end of the leg animation. Don't forget to keyframe the handles. Do the same thing for the other side of the skirt. Remember, the animation starts from when the leg touches the fabric to the end of the leg animation. For an animation scene, I like to place a floor as a guide before animating any character movements. Skirt lift, back part of the skirt showing. To bring the back part of the skirt into view, duplicate the layer, then bring the skirt copy layer behind all the character layers. Go to Move and Transform, then enable the pivot point and place it at the waistband. Then enable Freestyle Scale and increase Height Scale Y. Change the color to a darker one from Color and Fill. Make sure the back part of the skirt meets the skirt's curve properly, otherwise it'll look a little funky. Wrinkle Fold. Wrinkles or folds occur when clothing is overlapping or pressed together. You can achieve the look by disabling lock angle and lock distance and then curving the handles in opposite directions. It looks most natural when placed where a wrinkle would form, so place it reasonably. Skirt Physics. I'll quickly animate some random character movement. Before anyone asks, I have a null layer which the main layers are parented to, and if I use the freestyle Y scaling on it, it will allow us to animate squash and stretch bounce, making character animation smoother. I also added some follow-through movement or delay. Now let's animate the skirt for this motion. I'll teach you skirt physics this time. First, do the fixing, skirt attachment to the legs. Now I'll show you a cool way to make skirt physics easier. Add a rectangle, then apply the bend effect from the distortion warp category. Then we'll animate the physics. The idea that I follow is, if hair or cloth moves right, the air resistance will make the ends delay. This delay is called follow through, as the end parts fall a bit behind trying to follow their mommy. What we'll be doing is using the bend effect to animate the delay or follow through, then adjust the skirt accordingly. The shape acts as a guide for our skirt's motions. Because we animated the skirt being attached to the legs, we now just have to adjust the end parts of the skirt using the idea of follow-through or delay. I find thinking about hair physics, how the ends of the hair fall behind, to be the best way to keep this in mind. I'd recommend you to animate one point at a go. Also note that if the motion of the cloth is too fast, it'll have a bounce back, Newton's third law. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, hence the bounce back. You may notice I'm not using that rectangle guide, but my brain already knows how cloth physics work. I've been animating for 6 years, I'm old. I messed up the skirt length and now it somehow is shorter than what I started with. Don't worry, just add an oval shape and extend it to the initial length of the skirt. Then make adjustments. You can also enable the freestyle scale and increase the Y scale. This is where I add a slight bounce back. It is the most noticeable when people come to a stop but their hair does not. Animating the skirt in a wax cycle. I made a wax cycle in a minute following this tutorial secret recipe and it loops. Now let's animate the long skirt for the walking animation. I'll lower the opacity of the skirt from blending and opacity. Again, inertia. The animation starts from when the leg comes in contact with the skirt. And we made the animation while thinking about how when the cloth is moving, the ends of it fall back. First, I'm attaching the skirt to the legs. When the leg touches the fabric sits on the legs and is moved by the leg. As the character is walking forward towards the right, the ends of the fabric will fall behind or delay, trying to catch up with the main movement. If you're animating a rigid material and not something flexible and flowy like this skirt, I'd say the delay will hardly be present. That is quite literally it. Clothes and hair physics are not hard, and I will not waste your time showing the same thing again when I spill the secrets. It's about rewiring how your brain thinks, observing the nature to understand, and practicing the same principles. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.